Hey guys, it's Joshua from Thundermite Studios, and today I bring you my review of Iron Man Armored Adventures Part 2. So, a lot of this is going to be a especially short video, and the reason is because, Part 1 really covered the characters, everything. Part 2 is going to cover primarily Season 2, along with some, things I liked about it. So it's a very different video, very short video, but I thought I might as well throw my hat in the ring for Season 2. Without further ado, let's get into Iron Man Armored Adventures Season 2 review. So as a quick recap, Tony Stark is a teenage kid who gets into a plane crash due to the Mandarin, something Khan, and his dad presumably dies, and this leads him to become the hero known as Iron Man in his early years, and stops the threat that's unearthing with the 10 Mandarin rings. This season, furthers the plot like that, but I'll get more into that in the plot section. Let's get into characters. Number 1, Stark. Funny enough, that came on the screen. Tony Stark is a teenage kid, headstrong. The season makes a few developments. I think it mainly makes him more heroic. He does more heroic acts, just more heroic in general. I really like that. I think Rhodey's voice acting was slightly improved for this season. I think that I really liked. I think Pepper was definitely improved in this season. I felt she was more interesting to watch and as she traversed everything around her. And for the newcomers, which is apparently Lizard People and Howard Stark. Lizard People, I think their voice actors are just okay. And then, I would say personally, they just don't like how they're included. But, Howard Stark, I think his voice acting is good. A little shoddy, but overall, I think it pulls off the 40-year-old dad vibes. Yes, so in general, I just thought it was improvement. Next, we'll get into, plot. So on a little rant for a second. This season is about, realizing, oh my god, there's 5 more rings. Howard Stark is alive. That leads to 2 separate subplots that converge around episode 16. No, episode 20. There is a big issue with this plot that I think needs to be addressed. One, they already did the whole ringed MacGuffin thing. Why did they need to do it again? I liked the idea. Basically, this is an adaptation of the comics and the soon-to-be TV show Armor Wars, which is a really good comic book series, depending on who you are. They've done it a few times. They did it back in the 80s. They did it, I think, in the 2000s. They did it, I think, a few years ago. And to that extent, I think it adapts it well, while also adding in a few extra plot lines, like Living Laser, Obadiah Stane, Hammer, and, yeah. I have a few small issues, like Hammer's doesn't seem like a realistic villain. He's just rich for the sake of being rich. It makes no sense. Motives make no sense. But, that's just small issues I have. The big issue I have is with why on earth did they just stop the Armor Wars plot around episode 20 and incorporate Lizard People? So I barely finished the show in time to make this video, which is why it's so late. I was really busy getting a dog over the weekend. But, or the week, not the weekend, and I had finals to do. So I was basically binging the show as much as I could, which is not much. But in general, why did they just incorporate Lizard People? I get it. They wanted to kind of hint at the Avengers becoming a thing, which I liked. If they made a season 3, which was planned and then canceled, they probably would have incorporated the Avengers into it. But there was no reason to make Lizard People in an alien invasion. I would have been content with the Mandarin. Of course, I think but that's the biggest issue. Small issue, I think, is mainly I think the bigger issue is the rings, because, why would you carry over the plot from season 1? I get it. It was a good idea. Although it was a MacGuffin, I liked the idea of them being so mysterious that not even they know how to work it till, the final few episodes. But still, like, it's just not. It ruins, to me, the believability. The show, although it wasn't believable, it at least had a sketch of reality. A sketch, like a very small amount. Not season 2. Season 2, and this leads into the part where I have to say, it's sad to say it, season 1 was better than season 2. It's sad to say, but it really is true. Season 1 was, I think, not by much. I would say, like, I'd give season 1, like, a 7.5. I'd give season 2 also a 7, like, around a 7.3. Yeah. A few notes. In part 1, I mentioned how the show is cheesy. I think this is one improvement that season 2 made, which makes it, I think, just slightly above in that aspect. It's not that cheesy. So I think it's still really cheesy, but in general, it's not like as cheesy as it was before. Before it was unbearable. I put it at like a bearable but still annoying. Oh, the other good element it lost as well is that it lost the good cheesy. I think it's just whenever it's cheesy, it's bad cheesy. It's hard if I can explain it like that. So another element I want to kind of talk about is I really wish they incorporated more characters. Of course they incorporated like 2 more, but they really should have incorporated more. And another one, I think that for some reason, I don't know if it's just me, but like character development basically stopped. Yeah, Tony Stark got a ton of character development, so did Madame Mask, Obadiah Stane, and Khan and Howard Stark, but not every character got some development like in season 1. This is not like a ginormous issue, of course, but it's an issue that I think, plagued this show, and it's probably I think it's actually my biggest issue with both seasons. That character development is kind of slow. So, I hate to compare it, but feeling like Avatar, The Last Airbender, not the blue people. It's great character development. Every episode past mid-season 1 plays into the story arc, which is another thing too. This show has like half of it is just filler. I can understand a quarter filler, but not like full filler. Of course, some of that filler is good, but like most of that filler is just never talked about. It's not very good. And another thing I really want to talk about as well is I forgot to mention this in season 1. It comes back for season 2, so I thought I'd mention it. The Crimson Dynamo fight, I don't know if you remember that. It's probably an image on the screen. Of course, this is pulled right from the intro. I took a while to find all this stuff. But, like, I thought stuff like this in the show is really probably my favorite part about it. Is that they can just, like, the show is average, and then they can just pull stuff like this and create, like, really awesome sequences like this. This is cool. The only other show I've seen do stuff like this is Ninja Turtles, which the 2012, my brother's watching that currently, and I'm kind of, like, sitting down watching them every once in a while. But, yeah, I think it's amazing the way they just pull it off. And, yeah, that's notes. Positive and negative notes. I think I have one more positive note, I think. I just think the armor designs are really cool. Not MCU level, but those have millions of dollars. The show probably got made on the cheap. I imagine the show got made on the cheap. That's what I'm imagining, since they can choose better voice actors, the show probably got made on the super cheap. And I don't think it got that much viewing either. I forgot to check, but I don't think it got that much viewing, so yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. I just liked the animation. I liked the suits. Especially the 2099, 2030, something like that. The futuristic suit. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's the one with red. I thought it was just a cool design. I like how it hinted at the ending of the show. I just liked it. I also like the way they transitioned. We're not talking about legit people. And I'm into the heroes that they're gonna be in like 15 years. If I could see one more thing, I would have liked if they incorporated. I would have liked if they like formed the Avengers in this. They really didn't. They just sort of hinted at it. But I really liked it. That was really cool. Yep. So now we're gonna move on to final verdict. My final verdict for season 2, to me in my mind it's a 7.3, but because it's less good than season 2, I kind of have to kind of give it a 7. Overall, the show is a 7, 6.5, I think, overall, just because I like certain aspects of Season 2. But, yeah, Season 2 is 7... less good than Season 1, but still very decent. And I have to give the entire show as an entirety 7.5. I liked it a lot. Season 2 is less good, but Season 1 carries it. So, last thing I want to talk about is my personal rating system. Really confusing, the show. I can hear IGN screaming from across the street. Or, Metacritic. What? But I review it on a personal scale. For example, I'm getting into game reviews next week. I don't want to mention what the game is yet, but it will be out. Probably going to reveal it on stream. Or if, no, actually no. I'll reveal it probably in a YouTube short, but it, you cannot rate games, or this turns over the movies too, from a scale. Why are you gonna compare Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, which I haven't played yet, I really gotta play it, and, Mario Party, or Mario Kart, and The Last of Us, which is a game I haven't played either, or Batman Arkham to Sonic the Hedgehog. You just can't. You cannot. It's not possible. So this is on a personal preference scale for me, very personally, in the way I think. This is not a view scale. Like there's two types of reviews. Someone that rates something on personal, and someone that rates something via like what their personal thoughts are. So it isn't exact, but it's still, I think, my personal thoughts, and I'm happy that I did it. So without further ado, that's going to be the end of this video. Overall, pretty good show. I recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it. And that's going to do it. I'm Dutch with My Studios, and stay electric.